my third hobby update for 2024. This update will cover everything I painted in February this year and then have a quick mention of what's coming next. February saw me consolidating existing projects and doing the final additions to what are essentially finished armies, but I've tweaked the army lists for everything. So to begin with, I added 2 units of skirmishers to my American Civil War armies, 1 Union and 1 Confederate. This was so that I could split the armies into 2 equal brigades per side. Skirmisher units are a good way for me to include more colourful troop types without kind of upsetting the overall feel of the army. So for the Union, I did these guys. Get them front and centre. As always, these are metal 28mm redoubt miniatures. These are the 10th New York Zouaves with a not very fetching brown jacket, but again a variation or a change from the dark and light blue of the almost totality of the rest of the army. To go against them on the other side, I did these guys who I'm particularly fond of. Didn't know this unit existed until I saw someone had painted them on Twitter. These are the what are these? These are South Carolina Zouaves. These are from Hampton's Legion. They're yellow trousers and grey tops. So they make a fine addition to the Confederate army. Once they were done, I swapped back to my Crimean project where I did some Turks to join the British and French allies. 1 unit of infantry. Here we go. These are metal foundry miniatures, slightly smaller than the Great War miniatures I used for the rest of the army, but these are about the only Turks I could find that anyone did. In fact, these were the only Turks, so much better. I designed the flag myself. It's a little shiny, probably poor quality printing ink I use, but anyway, whatever. That's some Turkish artillery, Turkish infantry, and then 1 piece of Turkish artillery, again foundry. I gave them a decent sizable gun. I have a lovely portly artillery officer there. And then on the painting table at the moment there's a unit of Turkish cavalry, and for those I went for Bashi bazookas again to give a bit of flash of colour to an otherwise fairly red and black army. The rest of the month was taken up with American Civil War scenery, and here you can see a camp set from Hovels, all resin. There's a makeshift cookhouse made out of the remains of a stone chimney from a house. Then there's a large officer's tent and some small tents, one of which with feet sticking out, which aren't terribly clear. This replaces a much larger set I bought from Redoubt, which I decided I wasn't going to use in the end. The resin moulds weren't in particularly good condition with the Redoubt ones. This little latrine is also from Hovels. Again, resin. Very lovely, useful for more than just the American Civil War. And then, oh the excitement, I painted another 20 pieces of Rubicon plastic picket fencing. Well, 16 lengths of fencing and 4 of these gates. That completes the 2 boxes of those I bought, and I think gives me about 16 foot of picket fencing, which I'm hoping will be enough. It's not difficult to do, but it is fairly boring. If life does get a bit too exciting during March, I've got another box of the Rubicon log fencing to paint as well. So there we go. And then I did these 4 hovels ACW buildings. So this is a barn, very nice barn. I haven't based these. I'm deciding whether to. I'm not sure I will. This barn has been around for decades, and I've had it in the past and I sold it on like you do when you finish these things. Anyway, here's another one. To go with that barn, there's this larger barn. Now, this has been around for ages, so I've never had one of these barns because this main door used to be solid. There used to be modelled hay bales in it, blocking it. Hovels obviously decided they didn't like that as an option, so there we are. Nice. I don't know what you call that roof shape, but it's very indicative of American barns, isn't it? So there we are. So that was the first one. That gives me a couple of farm buildings. Then there's this ACW house. This one is modelled on an actual house, and I can't remember which one it is. But again, it'll be alright. Make a nice little farmhouse, add to the 3 buildings I've got. I realised I didn't have enough buildings to actually make anything that looked remotely like a town or a village, so that's why I bought more of them. And then finally I got this larger building, Stone Chimneys I think it's called, whatever. It's based on another real building, a bit more substantial, very nice. There's one more building in the Hovels range, which is a fully brick one, which I didn't buy because many years ago in the 90s I painted it on commission for somebody and I absolutely loathed doing it. However, I've changed my painting technique since then, so I might get it anyway later. But for the moment, that's my American Civil War buildings, and that, you're probably thinking, is the end of my American Civil War project. Well, of course it isn't. Whilst redoing the army lists, or not redoing them, whilst tinkering with them, I decided that my Confederate raiding cavalry needed a dismounted version. So I've got 6 dismounted cavalry on the painting table as we speak, and you'll see them in the next update. And then along with that, as I mentioned before, I've got a unit of Bashi bazooks for the Turks to join my Crimean army, and I've got a unit of Russian dragoons for the Crimea, and finally another command base for the British, who needed a bit more command and control on the battlefield to counteract the now, well, I'm hoping, overwhelming number of Russians they have to face. They shouldn't take too long to do, and then I will be launching into my retro sci-fi project, which miniature wise will be quite straightforward and fairly quick to do, but I've got a fair amount of buildings I want to paint through, so I'll get to them in due course. Other than that, my Union Army is finished, so I will do a Union Army showcase video, and I'll do another for the Confederates when the dismounted cavalry are finished, and I'll also do one for the Russians and one for the British and Allies in the Crimea. All I need to do is clear a big enough space on the table here to lay everything out and film it. let's go to shaky cam. I'll show you what's standing at the moment. So over here we've got a quick preview of some of the buildings for my my retro sci-fi project. Pile of board games and nowhere to put them. Oh, picket fencing. A bunch of castles and old stuff and thingy what's its that will just need. Sorry, that was a bit too. That was a bit too shaky, wasn't it, Felix? There we go. So yeah. Let's get back to that. There we go. So plenty of stuff in the works, and we'll get to that in the fullness of time. Right, that's it for this one. If you stuck with it this long, thank you very much. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, all that stuff. And well, hopefully I'll see you in less than a month with the Union Army video, and I hope Confederate one shortly after that. Until then, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.